Hi stars, this is Luminousz Ztarr. Welcome to the channel. I just thought before I head out, I will talk to you all about a few things. But before we get to that, first things first, my stars, thank you guys and gals so much for your subscription. And thank you for motivating me as well as inspiring me to keep this channel active. All of you who are visiting for the first time, welcome to Luminousz Ztarr. Don't forget to check the description box below. Don't forget to check the description box below for further details to today's video. And please share and like today's video. Okay, stars, so today is another vlog day. Welcome to another vlog day. And I'm going to be talking about how sometimes when the narcissist and cluster B personality, first they act all chummy and nice with you. They act all lovey-dovey. And then things take a weird left. All of a sudden, you're being blamed, you're being falsely accused, and then you're being discarded, all right? So we're going to be talking about that today on the vlog. Okay, I don't know about you all, but I've experienced this a few times, and that is how the narcissist and cluster B personality type, they will start to act all lovey-dovey and nice, and then all of a sudden, things take a weird left. Okay, so how to handle when the narcissist starts playing the blaming game, when they start to falsely accuse you of things that they actually have done. All of the shenanigans they've pulled, from cheating on you, to lying, to manipulation, to smear campaigning, gaslighting, you name it. They've done it all. But yet, they're blaming you. Okay, so how do you handle that? Okay, so what are you feeling about that? What are you thinking? What's going on? I say, first of all, make sure you are very mindful. Okay? What are you feeling? What are you thinking? How are you experiencing that person? Okay? What do you think about it? That's where the critical thinking comes in. And how do you feel? That's where your emotions come in. So this is how we practice mindfulness. This is something that helps me out a lot because I've been in this situation. Whereas at first, everything was great. And then all of a sudden, the narcissist and cluster B personality, they start acting like I've done them wrong. Okay, so I've been in this situation like most of you several times when it pertains to the narcissist and cluster B personality. So what happens? First of all, some of us become reactionary. And of course, the narcissist likes this. The cluster B personality likes it because they get to feed from that. They're tapping into the energy field. One way to look at our emotions is to say that our emotions are energy in motion. So when you think about your emotions, it's energy in motion. So when it comes to balancing what you think with what you feel, you're always going to land on your feet, no matter what the narcissist says or does. You can't control what they do. You really can't control what they say, but you can control whether or not you're going to show up in the relationship to continue to get second and third helpings of the BS. Okay, so the narcissists, they began to blame you. They began to falsely accuse you of having a character that they actually have. Okay, so when that starts happening, one of the first things to do, and this is tool number one, is to become mindful of what you think and what you feel. Now, while it's happening, that may not happen. Okay, we are human beings having a human experience. So we're not going to be perfect all the time. So let's just say after the fact, all right, you get to thinking about it. You're able to calm down, okay? So I say tool number one, become mindful of what you think about the situation and how you're feeling. That way you're always going to land on your feet no matter what the narcissist says or does. You're always going to come out on top, because you are in control of not only your thoughts, but your feelings, okay? The narcissist and cluster B personality, they don't like that because they can't effectively tap into your energy field when you are in control of what you think and what you feel. All right, so the example is, you may be out having lunch with the narcissist or cluster B personality one day. The conversation starts off great, and about 10 minutes in, things take a weird left, okay? All right, they may start smear campaigning. They may start gossiping. They may start saying things that you have done. In other words, they start to falsely accuse you of having a personality or a character that they actually have. They may start to blame you for things that they have done. In other words, they set things in motion, right? They made a mistake, they made a poor choice, but yet they're blaming you for it because they really don't want to acknowledge or admit that they made the mistake in the first place. They don't want to acknowledge and admit that they set things in motion and they got caught, okay? In other words, they suffered the consequences for their actions. So they're blaming you for it. A lot of us have gone through this when it pertains to the narcissist and cluster B personality. I know I have. Okay, so balance what you think with what you feel. When you're able to, in your own time and in your own space, when you're able to cool off, right? Because in the heat of the moment, you may actually respond or you may react. All right, that's your prerogative. The bottom line is you want to balance what you think with what you feel. So what's going on? That's the critical thinking. The narcissist started to falsely accuse you. That's fact. That's not hearsay. You experienced it. So you're critically thinking about what's going on. You're critically thinking about what the narcissist and cluster B personality is actually doing. Again, this is not a fantasy of yours. This is not fabric. This is not something you've made up. This is not hearsay. You're experiencing it. Again, critically thinking about what's actually happening. Number one, the narcissist is falsely accusing you of something you haven't done. Number two, the narcissist is blaming you for the mistakes and the failures that they have made. Okay? The poor choices they have made. They're blaming you for it because they don't want to take responsibility. That sounds just like a narcissist or cluster B personality, doesn't it not? Okay, so how do you feel about what happened? You're pissed off. You're angry probably. You're sad. Okay? You balance what you think with what you feel. This way, you are in complete control of your own mind and your own feelings, your emotions. The narcissist is left starving. They're not in control. All right, then let's just say you slipped. Let's just say you did react, okay? No, you still can make a great recovery by practicing mindfulness. So that's tool number one, practice mindfulness. Balance what you think with what you feel. The narcissist and cluster B personality, they cannot effectively continue to get the narcissistic supply from you when you do that. Okay, tool number two, start asking the narcissist questions. Yeah, especially if you currently have a relationship with him or her. Now, this is not to antagonize them or to put them on the defense, because narcissists and cluster B personalities, sometimes they will make good on their threats. They don't make idle threats. So you may want to use discretion for tool number two. All right? So if you think it's okay to proceed and ask them questions, ask them, why did they switch up? What was going on with them? Now, you may not care about that. The bottom line is you want to make sure that the narcissist and cluster B personality understands and overstands that you're not going to continue to put up with the shenanigans. All right? So you can start challenging them. Stick to your own story. Whether or not you know the narcissist story is irrelevant. You want to stick to your own story. In other words, defend yourself. But be very methodical about it. What am I saying? So the narcissist and cluster B personality, they're already on the defense. They already want the fight. Okay? So anything you say or do, they're going to continue to stick to their story. It's your fault. You're the bad person. See, narcissists and cluster B personalities, they tend to think in black and white terms. Okay? They have that type of mentality. It's all black or it's all white. So at first, you were in the white. Everything was good. They was getting along with you. Now, you're in the black. They think you're the worst person on the planet for whatever reason. And you're like, I don't know what just happened. All of a sudden, you seem to act like you have an attitude, right? Okay. So what do? You stick to your own story. Don't apologize for defending yourself. Don't apologize for that. It's okay. The narcissist and cluster B personality has a personality disorder, okay? Which means they may tend to have a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde complex. That's not your problem, okay? So one thing that empaths seem to do, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Respond rather than become reactionary. You can still defend yourself. So when you, for instance, if you ask the narcissist or cluster B personality what changed, they may not know what you mean, because see, they still want to fight. That's the mode they're in. They're in a survival mode. They have a defense mechanism. They have the wall up. They're guarded. Okay, so anything you say or do, it's not going to really get them to change their minds. They're blaming you for everything. Narcissists and cluster B personalities, as we know, they do that anyway. It's never their fault. It's always somebody else. So when you defend yourself without apology, this is also another way to practice mindfulness, because now you're practicing self-preservation. You're practicing assertion. You're practicing emotional discipline, and you're practicing personal boundaries. Okay, now I did a video about the mindfulness kit, especially right in the heat of the moment when you're going through something. What can you do right then to help yourself calm down and stay focused on what you need to do to thrive forward? Okay, it's not about the narcissist. This is about you living your life to the fullest and being able to thrive forward regardless of what they say or do. To defend yourself without apology. And you can do this constructively and methodically. So of course, there's nothing wrong with asking the narcissist, okay, what happened 5 minutes ago? And they may not know what you mean, because again, the narcissist and cluster B personality, they're on the defense, seeming like all the time. So whatever you say or do, they're not going to switch up. They have a personality disorder that is fixed, meaning they're less likely to change. So don't waste your time and energy trying to figure out what their motives are. Be mindful, okay? Be mindful of what you think and what you feel. So when the narcissist and cluster B personality starts pulling shenanigans, such as switching up all of a sudden, you know, at first, they're putting you on the pedestal. It's all good. You're in the white. And then all of a sudden they switch up. And you're all in the black now. And you're the worst person that they ever met, according to them. Okay? But the most powerful thing that you can take away, possibly, from this video today is that you can be in control. You can continue to thrive forward, regardless of what he or she is doing, regardless of what he or she is saying. Okay? All right. Tool number 3. Okay, tool number 3. So especially if you are an empath, if you are a highly intuitive empath, or if you are an empath who's intuitive, doesn't matter. You're beautiful anyway, okay? A lot of the times, narcissists and cluster B personalities, they pull these shenanigans. Unfortunately, the empath will internalize it. So tool number 3 is take steps to begin to not internalize what's going on. Balance what you think with what you feel. Remember, critically think about what's going on while being mindful of how you feel about it. That way, you can be your best problem solver. You don't have to be your only problem solver. You can be your best problem solver, because you're thinking about as well as feeling that experience. You can't control the narcissist and cluster B personality, and you don't have to give them permission to control you. Okay? You can always just, okay, you know, think about what's going on, such as, okay, they're starting to act weird. This is the critical thinking. They're falsely accusing you. They're playing the blaming game. How do you feel? You're upset about it. Okay? So that's the start. This way you can figure out what you want to do for yourself to resolve that issue. You already know you're not going to change him or her, but you can change. You can do something about how you handle the situation that's going to make sure that you are coming out on top. All right, so tool number 3, take steps to learn how not to internalize what you are experiencing, whereas the narcissist and the cluster B personality is concerned. They're not going to change, okay? But more than likely, you are changing. You're growing. You're thriving forward. And of course, the narcissist is probably feeling the heat of that. They're feeling the sting. They're not very comfortable with it, because that means they're losing control. And if they're losing control, that means they're losing supply. Okay, so for the narcissist and cluster B personality, that's not good news. Okay, stars, so just remember, you are a luminous star. No matter how dark the challenges are that you're facing, that's an opportunity for you to continue to illuminate from within. You are a luminous star, no matter what. The narcissist and cluster B personality, they're not going to change. But this does not mean that you have to stop being who you are. You know, sometimes we internalize what's going on, and the narcissist and cluster B personality, they're tapping into the energy field and they're being fed while the rest of us are being drained of the experience. So I certainly hope these 3 tools will help you guys and gals start today to take your own life back. Continue to thrive forward. Continue to do what you need to do to heal. All right? And in this healing thing, it doesn't have to be for the rest of your life. I just really want to put that out. You want to get to a point where you're living your life, whereas you're feeling like you can continue to move on. You know, too many of us are in the sunken place when it comes to the narcissist and cluster B personality. They're the ones getting fed while we're being drained. It doesn't always have to be that way. All right, so regardless of what's going on with the narcissist and cluster B personality, you can continue to thrive forward. And again, I hope these 3 tools is a great start for you if you haven't already started thriving forward, okay, and healing. But this healing business, again, nah, it's not something you have to do for the rest of your life. So when you're healing, it doesn't have to be a part of your lifestyle indefinitely. So wherever you may be right now, I wish you the very best love possible. I wish you the best, and continue to share your stories. You never know who's going to resonate with your stories. All of us are thriving forward together. We're growing together on this channel. Don't forget, stars, you are continuing to illuminate from within, no matter what challenges you're facing. I've been in some dark periods of my life, okay? I faced some things, but I do drop, bits and pieces about my story, as you all know. I don't like to just get in front of the camera and talk about everything that I've gone through that's horrible. On this channel, I like to encourage and inspire everyone to thrive and move forward. Okay? So, narcissistic abuse, you don't have to be the poster child for narcissistic abuse. This is not to belittle your experiences. However, there's so much more to you. There's so much more to life to experience. Okay? There's so much more to life than just being in dysfunctional relationships. So again, on this channel, Luminous Star, I like to encourage and inspire everyone to continue to thrive forward past narcissistic abuse. We don't have to be the poster child for that, right? There's so much more to us. So don't forget, you are a luminous star. Continue to thrive forward. All right? Continue to share your stories. Don't let nobody shut you up. You're on this planet and you count. Okay, I'm Luminous Star. Continue to thrive forward and stay tuned for more vlogs. Stay tuned for more videos. And of course, like I said, wherever you are right now, I wish you the very best.